Hello, everyone, and welcome to Community Corner, our weekly series where we discuss all things community. I am Kale Smith, joined by Nathan Mooney and Cameron Winston. And today we're going to talk about the philosophy behind tanks. But before we do that, we have some questions from the community that we are going to ask. How you guys been doing?
I've been doing great. How about you?
I was not happy about last week. We had to go into the 365 stream room to do Community Corner, and we were missing Mooney.
Yes.
It was not
Honestly.
great missing Mooney. It was.
Honestly.
I gave a shout
But
out.
we did it live.
We did. We did it live. Which
I actually
was,
heard
was
about that
great.
shout out. My mom was like, "Hey, Kale shouted you on stream," and I was like,
His
"Sick,
mom was
thanks,
watching
Mom."
the stream,
Yeah.
and when
She
I
has
gave him a shout
she
out,
has Twitch notifications set up because she's like, "Oh, I'm proud," and I'm like, "Thanks, Mom."
Your mom is Twitch
Yeah,
notifications?
she has to set up. She
Yeah.
gets the email
Isn't
notifications.
that's pretty dope.
My dad needs, what is that, Amazon Silver? The one that SNL skit? It's like Allegra, give me.
Community questions. First off, we got this from Kid Grit. This is a question we get quite frequently over on the forums as well. Once you have a more diverse hero pool, will you remove mirror matching heroes from the game?
Oh man, if I could cut mirror matches tomorrow, they'd be cut. Like, we just need enough heroes for people to be able to play. Like, and you know, also not everyone wants to play, you know, super serious cat all the time.
Yeah.
And like, but if you're like a serious player, like, yeah, like you look at mirror matches and you're like, why do we have this? Like, but I think like it makes for a much better game if you don't have mirror matches.
matches.
Like, it's
For
just
sure.
because it's like, well, they picked a hero, and the counter to the hero is not like, well, I'll just pick that. You know, it's like, oh man, they picked, you know. They banned out my favorite jungler, and they picked Feng Mao or whatever, and like, man, you know, and what's in the pool, and
Right.
I need a jungler with control, but like, you know,
It's
I
a
don't know.
multi-level ability to like counter
Yeah.
pick and go
Yeah.
back and forth.
Like,
yeah.
it just makes the game better. Like, there's just, you know, we're definitely gonna cut mirror matches at some point. I just like, you know, when we can, and it'll probably come right around the time we have like either like when we start to separate the modes into like, this is our ranked mode,
Right.
this is, or like our serious mode. This is our like casual fun mode. This is our, you know, super fast like run around the map in A mode, and like then we'll A. We should just call that mode A.
A mode.
A.
What would be the super fast name of a mode that you guys would want to be like? It's like kind of like super cash. You run in, you're just having fun. You blast people. Would you guys call it A? I want to know that down in the
I
comments.
mean, yeah, but like, I mean, even if they
A.
wouldn't, it's gonna be called A.
Regardless.
Yeah, regardless.
yeah.
It's the A mode.
Okay.
Yeah,
A.
you want to queue for some A?
A. All right, there we go. A mode. I want to know what you guys think. Next question is from Geo the Real Deal. Any chance travel mode animations from Legacy will be coming back? For example, this is the hallmark one,
Yeah.
Gideon hovering or Howitzer flying around the map.
So it'd be like cool to do that. The problem is like it's like not just as easy as turning them on. Like a lot of the how can I say this? A lot of the new heroes, like, they don't have as much of a travel mode pool because like we kind of stopped making travel mode for a while. So some of the heroes have it, some of the heroes don't. The ones that do have it, like, there was actually a time we turned on like Muriel's travel mode animation in a test game just to see what it was like, and because like when she was creeping, she just kind of like did this S
Wavy,
pattern, and it was
yeah.
like kind of disorienting. So like there's a lot of work to be done. Like,
Right.
I mean, would we like the game to be like more visceral and like, you know, awesome in that way? Absolutely. Like, I don't necessarily know if it's something that we're going to be able to do soon, you know, but it's like one of those things where it's like, yes, it would be kind of cool. Like, we definitely want like you to feel awesome, but it's not just like, we can't just be like Gideon as a travel mode animation and like Grux does, but like, you know, Crunch doesn't because he never got one.
Right,
one.
he was
Yeah,
first
or like
play, yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I just made that up. I think Crunch actually has one, but like that you can't
Cases
just
where it was made, but like
Yeah.
you would have to fill in the spot.
Like Seraph, anyone you want to live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they didn't have any authored for them when they were made because there wasn't a travel mode when they were like, so that's kind of like, you know, that's just a lot of work to get to there. So I don't know if that's going to be something we
Right.
like do anytime soon.
That being said, I know there are some cases where we might be able to reuse some of those animations in different ways.
Right.
So, you know, I don't want to tease too far out in the future, but there's certainly that aspect.
Dude, you're
of it.
teasing that? You got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not.
Like, we could all be dead by then.
No.
Like, that's a
I
long
didn't
time
tease
away.
that. I didn't say anything. I
Yeah,
didn't
of course.
say
Yeah,
anything.
whatever. Your eyes teased it.
just because look, only you and I know this.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like, dude, that's like
Sorry,
a million
guys.
years in the future.
I apologize for teasing this far out into the future, but I didn't even say anything. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's talking about.
It was,
We're
but
on the same
it was the
page.
implication.
It's the implication.
It's the implication.
Next question we have, and this isn't necessarily a direct question, but this has just been a popular feedback item that I've seen in the community. Since we've launched the Age of Intellect update with V40, we introduced Phase. Phase has been a popular point of discussion. We actually talked about her last week. I think the question was more like, how do we feel about her? But I want to make this very directed. Are we looking at making any changes to Phase's blind? We talked about the effect itself.
Right.
But
so the problem, the major problem we have with Faces Blind right now is that like after you get blinded, you can still play the game. I'd really prefer it if it just crashed your client and then you became permanently blind and like had to have like eye surgery.
I was gonna say eye surgery is more affordable than ever.
Yeah,
so
maybe
we don't have
joking.
to change the blind. You guys can just invest in some LASIK.
Do you really have to tell them I'm joking?
No, I do. Because
like you do?
I do.
You do because they're gonna like.
See, this is what happens. People will take the clips of you just saying that, and if there's no like he's joking, then that gets proliferated.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So like Hero Designer wants people's clients to crash.
And go blind.
It probably. So I mean, my gut tells me it almost probably lasts too long. I have to talk to the balance guys about that. Like, I mean, it probably should last a little bit, not quite as long as it does. I mean, not like tremendously less, but maybe a little bit less. I mean, we're still collecting data on her. We're gonna see how she plays in the next couple of weeks. We definitely want to kind of tone down the brightness on it, which is where. I haven't seen it yet, but I know that like top people are working on it internally as far as like mitigating the oh my god my retina's kind of like effect. I mean, obviously like it worked, but I mean, it was definitely something that we wanted to make sure that it was a blind, because like a lot of times like in games it's like you do this like so I saw this like interesting Reddit post like the other day where somebody was like hey, like you should keep the UI. When she gets blinded, that would be way better. And like I don't remember whose post it was. I almost replied to it, but then I didn't. Was like essentially the original version of the blind did in fact. That's exactly what we did. Like, and it wasn't because we intended it, but just like we didn't have the tech for it at the time. We had to get a coder to do it. And so our first version of the blind, you kept the UI. And it turns out that when you keep the UI and you're not blind, you're not blind. Like
you can just see.
No, that was the biggest jump I think when we were playing playtests, is when we were playing and everybody's like, all right, I can see this sort of stuff and I'm actually able to gesture in the direction that I'm going and understand where I am still. And it wasn't actually serving the purpose at all. And it almost was like, okay, so I'm just not blind and I know where I'm going now. And then it was like when we made the final iteration of the version, I was like, wow, this actually feels like a blind. Everybody before was like, oh, it wasn't really feeling like a blind, but there's a few things like the UI. Like having that go, like having it actually completely blind you.
I'm actually going to talk about this from a player perspective. What I like about the blind is that I'm not rooted. I still can access all of my abilities. So as soon as it happens, one, I know when it's about to happen, right? So it's like in my mind, I'm keeping a mental picture of the landscape. Some people can't, they don't have that photographic memory of like spatial awareness. So you'll see
the photographic memory.
Confirmed.
This is just
part of Kale's life.
Part of playing a lot of shooters. You memorize maps very quickly. And so for me, in the space of where I'm at in the game, if I happen to get blinded, I generally know that the direction that I'm facing. But it's always interesting to me, on one hand, seeing people like still run into walls, swinging at things. I mean, I think it's funny. But from the standpoint of like, if I was approaching this competitively, I would much rather have access to my controls because of my mental ability to be able to go, oh, I know where we're at. But I definitely understand the duration is something that people care passionately
It's just
about.
a little too long.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But like for example, there's a lot of heroes that like directly counter her. Like for example, if I'm a Chimera and like I jump on you in your phase and you blind me, like I'm still gonna ult you. Like I can't. I'm not gonna miss that. Like it's gonna happen. Like Countess, I'm gonna ult you. You know what I mean? Like and then the stun lasts for a couple seconds, and then that's when it's like, okay, now the blind is a little too long, right? But like if the blind was like a little bit shorter, and it was like something in like the 2.5, 2.25 seconds somewhere in there, like you would come out of the blind and have like 0.3 seconds of and then like it would be over, right? And then you'd have this phase who's like, oh my god, I'm small and tiny, please help me. And like there's no phase to pull phase away.
Right.
So like you're going to just eat her, eat her lunch. Like that's it.
Well, like you were saying, the noise cues are also very helpful too in painting that picture of like the landscape. So like for example, a team fight the other day that I had on, like I was playing on live, I ulted somebody and we were engaging on them, and the phase had gotten really low, but she blinded us, and then I heard like a grunt noise, and I heard somebody hit something. somebody, and then I heard the CP going somewhere, and I was like, okay, I think phase is down because she's the only one low enough to have died at that point. So I'm like using information I had before to paint the picture afterwards as best as I can.
And that's a big difference between like you're stunned and you can't actually do anything versus I'm blind and I can actually make a decision based off of the awareness that I had previously.
So it's essentially, it's a control, almost it's an anti-ganker control. But like in the reality situation, it's like if you get locked in a Decker cage and Gideon like warps in and just black holes you, and now you're like, I'm gonna blind it. Who cares? He doesn't care if he's like I mean, in that case, like, man, I wish you were a Narbash, right? To just like thunk this dude, right? But instead, he's like, he can't see while he hears triple kill. Like that's what actually happened. So you know, you're trading one kind of control for another, and yeah, it's really effective at peel. It's great peel. But she's like Peel, the hero of the movie, the game, the sequel. Like that's what she does, right? She's like, she is the peel master. So like, if you use the peel correctly and players are executing it right, like then yeah, she's like, oh my God, how do I not get this peel working, right? But the problem, I guess not really the problem, but like the intentionally designed issue that she has is like, she can't actually interrupt people. She can't actually stop that Gideon ult. And like, man, is there anything more satisfying than last picking a Gideon into a comp without a stun? Like that is like got to be the best feeling. And then you just know the other team is like, what have we done? And then like you see like the Bellica Q just go under you while you're killing everyone. Like that's just awesome.
I had some really good, just from gameplay experience, I've had some really good games now, especially as players are understanding how to counter phase, where they go, okay, this person picked phase, let me grab Aurora. Right, because as soon as you have no one that can stop Aurora with either Purity Sensor, which is the main counter that people were using at the time, or Hunter Scout, it's like, man, she's going to eat you up. That phase is going to get frozen, and then she's going to get hoarfrosted, and then she's going to die. And so it's really interesting to see and listen to and watch what people are doing and how they're reacting to that whole counter dynamic of like, there's no stun on the field. This is the hero that I'm going to choose. This is the play that I'm going to try to set up. This is the team comp.
So the primary really cool. The primary thing that I see that like players are like, you know, in my own internal games, and we like, you know, succumb to this too in the design playtest. It's like there's a phase, and we're like, the phase is connected to the Murdoch or whatever. It's like, let's kill the Murdoch. Like why? Why you like kill the phase? Like once you kill the phase, the rest of the team is just like explodes. They don't have phase.
If you go into a team fight with like a game plan and you're like focusing on like this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to engage on phase, try and get in on her, or you know, attack the carry if it's like in an opportune spot and she's not linked to him or something. You have to keep that focus, and you really can't let the blind phase you at all.
I knew it. All right, next thing that we have for phase is the range on Energy Lance. How do you feel about it?
So, like, I mean, it's long, but like, it's kind of like the problem we had is we had so Energy Lance used to be our ultimate. And it was just this really cool, like, channeled, like, nuke-y thing. And, like, the problem we had a lot of, like, tremendous negative feedback. They're like, hey, this hero, like, doesn't do anything. You just sit around and you, like, sort of wait. Because, remember, her positioning is she has to play back. If she doesn't play back, you can't pull people to safety. So, like, if it has closer range, what winds up happening is the phase has to be, like, with an engagement range. It's like, and then you, like, your carry gets gone on, and you're like, oh, I'm in engagement range. Now I'm dead too. Like, so essentially the gameplay we're noticing is like, hey, this hero kind of sucks. It doesn't like do anything. So the range of the engagement of Energy Lance is intentional to allow her the ability to do stuff in lane to support, you know, ganks and stuff like that, and contribute to team fights while also allowing her to be in a good position. So the phase player gameplay isn't just like, I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here. Or like, I'm wrong, which is what most people would do, right? Like we've seen a lot of like, you know, so I would say the range would probably be the last thing that would come in. Like if the ability needed to be tuned, it'd probably be like, it would do less damage, or it would like, you know, slow slightly less, or maybe we'd take like the root pop at the end off, something like that. But like, I don't think it's in a really terrible space right now. It's just like, it's got a weird interaction with Tainted Magic, but like, you know, that's kind of like, that's sort of like if you do that, you could have gotten a cast converter. So I don't know if that's necessarily.
So you're trading an offensive.
I like using it with Thick Blood, FYI. Energy Lance to Thick Blood.
Yeah, well, Thick Blood is like a must-run card if your opponent's running a phase. Like, but if you get a Thick Blood and like you go on that guy and he's like, I've got, you know, I don't know, 95 HPS, and you're like, what if you had like 30 HPS? It's like, it's a big difference. So you know, there's a lot of good stuff you can do with that. What is it? My
No,
thick
I
blood
know. I just like
22?
I just like that concept. Just walking up to me like, oh, you thought you had 90. It's actually 30 now.
Like I was playing with Gates the other day, and we blew up this phase, and I was like, "What just happened?" He's like, "Yo, I got thick blood."
Like that too.
No,
Yeah.
that's how he talks. Yeah.
That's exactly
I got
Gates.
thick blood.
That's exactly Gates.
Dog, I got thick.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, man.
All right. So the main topic of today, I wanted, well, Cameron actually wanted to discuss was the notion of what makes a tank. We can talk about it from a philosophy standpoint, MOBAs or specifically to Paragon, but this is something that we've seen in the community where you'll see something along the lines of a tank is made because armor and health.
Yes.
That makes a tank. I would like you to explain kind of our philosophy around the tank as a class.
So like tanks and games interpret this differently, obviously, but I'm going to explain kind of what our philosophy is for tanking in Paragon. So tanking is two things. Okay, so a lot of times, like, because tanking comes from, like, for people who aren't familiar, like, old school RPG, Holy Triad, tank healer DPS. The tank was the guy who, like, ran up, hit the mob, and was like, hey, hit me, and then had a bunch of damage and mitigation.
Yep.
So the main thing about being a tank is, yeah, you have to be tough, but it's not enough to be tough. Anyone who's ever played with a bad tank in an MMO knows that if your tank can't hold aggro, they're not much of a tank.
Yeah.
So that is the sort of core philosophy about that. So in an MMO, you just go, like, you hit your AA button and then you just get the aggro, right? Like, and that's what happens, right? But in Paragon, you can't, like, taunt a player and force them to attack you.
Right.
And if you could, it's kind of dumb. Players hate it. It feels bad. I don't know if anyone's ever played a forced attack game, but it's just like it's essentially a stun. So it's like it's more stuns in your game. So the way MOBA heroes taunt in many MOBAs that have tanks is they generate tremendous threat of death over a longer period of time. So what this looks like is, if I'm a Sevarog and you ignore me, I'm hitting you with this Q every like 4 seconds, and if I've been farming the Q, it does a lot of damage. It's like, here's 350, here's 350. Here's 350. Like, oh my God, this is adding up. Like, I'm getting wrecked. Like, so you got to get this Sevarog off you. You've got to get him stopping doing this stuff to you. He's rooting me. He's separating my team. Like, get this guy off me, right? But if you're like a Rampage, you just sort of like hit people, right? And so Rampage is less of a successful tank because he can't really generate threat. He throws his rock, and then that's pretty much all he's got. So, like, we're looking at things, for example, specifically, for a future version, we're looking at things like, kit changes to help Rampage and Grux and other tanks kind of be more effective. Like, we started to see, like, okay, Steel's kind of being a tank. He's got that big energy armor, or excuse me, ability ablative armor now, right? Like, it lets him, kind of absorb more damage. But really what makes Steel a tank is his shield, because he gets to, like, get in front of you, and he's slowing you, and he's like, and if you ignore him and he gets that cooldown up again, his team can shoot you from behind this giant thing. His stun comes up again because it's really fast. He can stun you again. So you have to have the ability to generate, like, ramping threat over time. So what we're looking to do with tanks is we don't believe that tanks are just a walking bag of hit points, because that's, number one, not really engaging, because you're like, there's no gameplay in that. It's just like, this guy just doesn't die. And then what happens is, if you're a guy that doesn't die, and there's, like, no way to kill you, but there's also no way to encourage me to fight you, then, like, all of your hit points are, you just ignore them. So it's like kind of like the classic, like, what do you do versus a Greystone that's, like, got 3,000 hit points? You just nothing. You just let him do whatever he wants. Like, he built hit points. Like, just okay, you just do you, and he hit me for 70. I'm going to kill everyone else in your team, and then when it's just the Greystone left, we'll kill you twice. Like, but there's no reason to go on that. But, like, the classic MOBA mistake, especially in, like, mid to low level play, is like, the big hero charges in. I had a couple examples, but I don't know if they're copyrighted or not. But big dude from MOBA, charges in, and everyone's like, let's go on this guy. And it's like, no, let's not go on this guy, right? That's like 101, right?
That's totally exactly what people. You'll get that all the time. It's
of course,
when there's a Greystone coming at you. And you'll see people in games say, "Why did we focus Greystone? You should not have focused Greystone. Focus someone else."
And I think that's where it gets a little nuanced, just because like I think with a lot of engagements, you do have opportunities where you want to hit the Greystone. You're engaging on the Greystone, but you also don't want to let him do that for free. Because like the way I see it, the tank's goal in the end is to either de-incentivize them to hit your carry or incentivize them to hit you.
Yeah.
So either like, don't hit that guy, hit me, or you're like, okay, now you have to hit me because I'm swinging on your face.
Right. What you want to do is you want to like punish the Greystone, but you don't want to commit to the Greystone. You know, that's the thing. It's like if you've got like cooldowns or like things that you want to do, like if you're like Aurora and like Greystone goes on you with your creep wave and you're like, oh, sick ult, and you just ult the Greystone, and then it's like his team comes out of the woodwork, you're like, oh, what have I done? You know? Like bad poor life choices moment. Like you know, like that's what he wanted. You know, so it's like that's what the tanks are good at doing. But like I would say that Greystone like has all the survivability the tank needs, but like, you know, if he doesn't really like ramp in his, because he has so much survivability, he doesn't really ramp in his threat. Whereas like we're trying to like steer tanks into a more of a like, yeah, you have survivability, but the reason you have the survivability is because you're going to be encouraged to be hit. And the reason you're going to be encouraged to be hit is because you have like a slow ramping damage threat over time, which can become as dangerous as any carry if left unchecked. And that's the key difference. So it's like where if you're like a Murdoch, you just show up and you're like boom, 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 you dead, right? Like you get arrested. That's Murdoch. Like maybe I can do that same kind of damage as Rampage, but it takes like 16 seconds or something like that.
You know who kind of feels like that to me, based off of your current description of it, is Crunch.
Yeah.
Because Crunch is like, the really good crunches I've played, they will destroy you in a heartbeat, but it's hard to take them out as well. So it's like, if you don't look at Crunch and focus Crunch right away, he's going to combo you into oblivion because you didn't deal with him.
Dude, that guy does so much damage.
He does.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so you'll see comps, really good team comps, where the Crunch is built tanky. He has health, he has armor, he has a little bit of damage, but if he goes unchecked, he'll come in on you, combo you, knock you up in the air, and take you out if you don't deal with it.
And that's one of my favorite things about playing tanks, because like this is definitely way more my line. In like a lot of games I played over the years, I kind of transitioned from like that healer supporting role to more of a tanky supporting role, just in a lot of games I've played, because it makes it almost feels like I almost have a mind game factor where that they don't know how much damage I could potentially do. So I have all this potential damage I could be doing in a team fight, and it's up to me where I like, or potential attention I could draw in a team fight, and it's up to me where I put that attention. Like, do I put it by my carry and like say, hey, draw attention over here, or do I like just zone their backline completely by getting in there and harassing them, because I know I can survive long enough, so my carry's dealing with their tank, and I'm believing my team will overcome the odds before they overcome me.
You know, the most underrated tank in the game, in my opinion, low-key overpowered Kwang.
Oh god,
Kwang is a good Kwang.
You know, Kwangs are terrifying.
You know what it is? Like he's giving that lifesteal aura to everyone, and it works on your abilities, which people don't even know. And it's like, so their whole team is lifestealing, and you're like, why can I not kill this Murdoch? Is what you're thinking. But you really like, and then when people realize, oh, the Kwang is here, then you go to kill the Kwang, and he puts his armor on, and he's just a pain, and then he throws his sword away, and he warps, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go. You know, like man, that Kwang guy, like he is like a great example of like, you know, and then he gets a good initiation. And yeah, like if you get super farmed, he can blow you up with like an ult combo, but he's unlikely to just kill you without his ult. Right. I guess there's not a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah. So I really feel like if you had that question about tanks, this is the video for you. So I hope you guys enjoy Cameron breaking that down. I'm assuming we're probably going to hear some more about that over time, especially as we introduce more heroes, and then we look at revisiting some of the heroes.
We have a big patch coming up in the future.
Very big patch.
One of the biggest patches we have ever done.
Oh.
And in that patch, you will see exactly the kind of stuff we're talking about for Grux and for Rampage. And if I'm lucky, our boy Richter. If I'm lucky.
Our boy. Is that him?
Yeah. Well, Richter's everyone's boy.
Dat boy, Richter?
He's not Dat boy. He's our boy.
Yeah. Our boy.
Like Dat boy does not imply ownership,
but our boy implies.
Yeah,
our boy.
Yeah,
okay.
Boy. Yeah.
Okay. And
as boys go.
Before we end today, I just wanted to, you know, make everyone aware that next week we start the new hero teaser.
We do.
But
time flies, man. Time flies.
Before we go, Cameron, I want to give you the opportunity to tease out some tidbits.
Oh, it's my opportunity now.
Yeah,
it's your opportunity to tease out some tidbits for the new hero.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, what about that new hero?
It's almost like we toggled our stance.
Oh, we did. I didn't even realize that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just getting comfortable.
You guys are lying.
I'm just getting comfortable, dude. I don't know what you're talking
getting
about.
comfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, just laid back. It's Friday, hanging out with the boys, talking about new hero stuff, teasing things, just relaxing, man.
Just being a lord of
I'm
memes.
relaxing and maxing. You know what I mean?
You have to max first before you relax.
You know what I mean?
You can't do that.
I understand.
You're doing it in the wrong order.
I'm sorry. I'll switch up that order for you.
Yeah, you need, if you're going to be a proper meme lord, you have to lord over your memes.
That's true.
You can't just be like, Prince
So
or a duchy.
Yeah, so anecdote here. Earlier, I thought I made a hilarious joke. And Cam is like, that's way too cheesy. That's not funny.
Right.
And I was explaining to him, all right, cool, cheese, right? Cheese. Smelly. Cheese is smelly. Cheese is great, don't get me wrong. Cheese is smelly though. What do you call things that are like smelly? You're like, oh, that's kind of dank, that's smelly. It's like dank cheese, man. Mm-hmm. So if you call that a cheesy meme, isn't it in itself potentially a dank meme at that point?
That is potentially true.
Sound logic.
You
heard it here, folks.
Inarguable.
You heard it here, folks.
Inarguable.
Yeah.
Don't let people deter you from your dreams.
Don't sleep on your cheesy memes. Don't let your memes
Don't sleep
be
on
dreams.
your cheesy memes.
Yeah. Don't sleep on your own.
Don't sleep on cheese at all. It's gross.
Cheese is delicious.
Your body heat will warp it, and it'll get all like fungus and like. Why would you do that?
It's just heating it up.
Heating it up, man.
Heating it up. All right.
Warm cheese is good sometimes.
It's lit.
It's lit. All right, good. Give me more stuff they can cut. This is awesome.
Toggling stances.
Toggling stances.
Okay. Well, on that note, we're heading off. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.